Adrian Moore, Technical Director for Xtrac Limited, explains how energy recovery works.
3 years ago in Formula One they changed the regulation for 2009 and they wanted this so-called kinetic energy recovery system, this CARS system. So the idea behind CARS is that as the vehicle slows, you recover the energy that you would normally lose through the brakes, recover it, store it, and then when you accelerate, you then discharge the energy back into the vehicle to help it accelerate quicker. So that's the fundamental reason for it. So the Formula One cars with this system are hybrid cars, they're hybrid vehicles. So we got involved with a company called Flybridge Systems. So Flybridge Systems have they are the complete system supplier. And it's a small startup company. Two guys started it who are ex-Cosworth, Toyota and Renault Formula One. So they've got a long history of racing. We've know the guys anyway, we've worked with them, we've been suppliers to them as well. They started the business with this really clever idea for the flywheel. And so to join the flywheel to the vehicle, you need another transmission. So we've been involved with the Cvt Transmission, which is a continuously variable transmission. And that transmission exists to speed match the flywheel to the vehicle. So the flywheel, when it's rotating at high speed, has to speed match to the vehicle to discharge the energy from the flywheel to the vehicle. And then when the flywheel speeds drop down, the vehicle then, the energy flow goes the other way to the flywheel. So we speed match through that transmission. So we've been involved and still are heavily involved with that system, particularly with the transmission part of it. Now that program was an FIA initiative. Max Mosley, who's president of the FIA, they changed the regulation to try and get Formula One to showcase this technology. Two potential advantages behind doing that. One is that Formula One will force the technology to be developed very quickly because there's a requirement to put it in the race cars for 2010. So it will really accelerate the technology development. There's an argument against that, is that in that the technology that's been developed is specifically for Formula One and is not necessarily totally applicable for road cars. And there's pros and cons of that argument. I definitely agree. It is very specific for Formula One. But by putting hybrid cars in Formula One, it's a very good promotional tool to promote the concept of the technology. Not necessarily the actual technology, but the concept of the technology to a wider audience in an exciting and interesting way. So you can argue either way, which is the right way of doing it, but I still think it's a positive thing to do. But on the back of this program that we've done with Flybridge, we are undertaking a number of projects, and Flybridge have a number of projects, all of which are highly confidential, as you'd imagine. But the one that isn't is one because it's UK government funded. So because it's UK government funded with public money, it's a public project. And we are, in simple terms, taking a Formula One Flybridge energy recovery system, CARS system, and putting it into a Jaguar road car as a research vehicle. And that's being part funded by the UK government. And that's a consortium of companies, UK companies, which is Xtrac, Flybridge, Ricardo, Ford, ProDrive, and Toratrack. So a number of companies, UK government funded, to do this project. So that's a direct benefit of the racing initiative, the initiative that was done in Formula One. And by the end of this year, there'll be a research vehicle that's driving around with a mechanical kinetic energy recovery system, a Jaguar vehicle, which obviously then Jaguar can choose to take to market or not. It's ultimately the UK government funding is only to prove the demonstrator vehicle. Then Jaguar can then take it to market or whatever they choose to do.